Welcome to the Whiskey Brothers podcast, everybody. Episode 1039. We're your Whiskey Brothers. The table looks empty at the moment, but it will not be soon. We'll be joined by two fantastic Houston comedians. But for now, I'm Slade Ham, your host. That's Jerry Wayne Longmire, my other half. For all intents and purposes, I don't know anymore.
I feel like we've been living together a little bit lately.
We've spent a lot of time on the road together. We have the benefit now of knowing that this month's episodes consist of Juan Villareal, Dave Lawson, two fantastic Houston comedians.
Yeah.
Juan's been on the show before. Dave is not, but you'll get to know Dave, and I think you'll fall in love with Dave the way I have. He's a great dude. But you and I have been on the road a lot. We flew to D.C., and then we drove to Louisville.
Yeah.
And so that's...
No, we didn't drive to Louisville. You drove to Louisville. And I just rode in the passenger seat of the fucking spaceship. It was fine, you know?
The midnight spaceship took off, and all you had to do was relax. It's a comfortable car.
I tried to buy gas. I offered to drive. I did everything that a good traveling partner's supposed to do, and got told no. So I was like, all right, fuck it. I'm just gonna enjoy the ride. Then.
You passed the test.
It was fun.
So let's start there. You passed the test. Not that there's a test. There is no formal test, but there is an informal test of being on the road with someone. You don't know. It could go nine kinds of sideways. I've seen it. I've seen comics go on the road with people and think it gone well, and they've come back to find out
it didn't.
The opposite.
There are people that I've liked, that I've gone on the road with, they will come home and be like, never again.
And I'm a touchy case because I'm half introvert, half extrovert. There's a mainly intro. I like it quiet, but I also need human contact and conversation. We threaded the needle of you read the situation. So hey man, I recognize there's gonna be some moments when you just need to shut the fuck up. So just give me a nod. And I was like, it's like he gets me.
Well, it's just like we would sit there and tell stories for about an hour or two, and we know quite a great deal about each other now that maybe we didn't know before that drive. And it wasn't like, wow, it wasn't that shit. But it was like he keeps turning his music off. Talk to me. I'm gonna let him be for a minute.
No. So there's that's important. If you go back and listen to my one of the most recent episodes of the Slade Ham Experiment, I am not talking about you.
No, I know, I do. But I thought it was funny because I'm just so bad about that. Wow, man, that's why I was like, did I do that?
No.
When I heard, man, that's wild. I was like, that's my checkout line. That's my I'm hanging in the pocket to get to the end of the story, but bro, you've Aunt Dottie'd me to death. You know what I mean?
That's how I know I found the right vein. That's perfect. Good. Then I'm in the right track with the bit.
I was like, fuck, I don't remember doing that to Slade. I mean, maybe he saw me do it to somebody else at the club, you know? Because I might have done it to a couple people at the club a couple times.
No, it was all me talking about how I treat other people when they're. So that was 100% not you. You were an absolute gem, and we did the road together, and it's been wonderful. We're going to do it again. This episode, we should get into it. We talk with Juan Villareal and Dave Lawson. We have a second episode coming out this month. All of this precedes you and I performing at the Houston Improv.
Hell yeah.
We'll talk about it on the episode coming up. It will tell you how to get tickets, but I'll tell you now. If you go to my website, sladeham.com or improvtx.com, there are tickets available through both of those links. They'll get you over there really quickly. We're going to sell this place out. I don't know another way to say it. I usually almost sell it out myself. You packed it out the last time by yourself. This is combined forces. So get your shit together, everybody.
Don't be a wait till the last minute. I know a lot of our fans are these, oh man, I'm just gonna get tickets today. Don't do that because I swear to God you're gonna miss out.
And you're gonna be one of those. I can't help you. I can't. I'm looking at you now and telling you.
We're dealing with a corporate chain. Once the tickets are gone, the tickets are gone.
Tickets are gone. You can't break fire codes. Slade Ham, Jerry Wayne Longmire will be joined by Juan Villareal and Dave Lawson. This episode's fantastic. Another episode too. Lots of old school Houston comedy in the month of September on the Whiskey Brothers podcast. Stick around.
From Houston, Texas,
the Whiskey Brothers.
We have got a lot to get to today. We have our September episodes. We're devoid of other Whiskey Brothers. We don't have Sam or any. I don't even know who's in the Whiskey Brothers anymore. But I know that at the table with us, we're joined by a guest who's been on the show many times before, Juan Villareal.
What's up? Thank you for having me.
Of course. Yeah. And then my good friend, it's good to have, let's just cut the introduction and just say Dave Lawson.
What's up?
We got old Houston comedy blood in the room. No young bucks. Nothing to. We don't have to explain shit to anybody. Nope. You started comedy when? What year?
March 92.
92. There are children who you have jokes that were legal to drink before some of these comics were born. I think it's you, and you were right after Juan a little bit.
Yeah. Now that you mentioned the date, I was about 9 months because I started like right before Thanksgiving. I remember it was right. I don't know the exact day. It was right before Thanksgiving, 92.
And you guys were. This is what I love. Nobody knows there was a Houston scene. Now we got one half rooftop drug bar, and we got the Improv, and I don't know what else is here.
The Riot.
The Riot. They're doing good things over at Rudyard's, but there was a thriving scene. I think at its peak. How many clubs were in this city? You had Spellbinders, the Laugh Stop, the Laugh Spot, Showcase, Just Joking. The hip hop was around.
The hip hop.
Town Square there then.
Times Square. All right, let's pull this back a second. We're listing these names. Yeah. Houston had there was a when I came into the scene, when I started stand-up comedy, there was a massive split between like the white mainstream club comics and what they called the Chitlin circuit at the time.
Right.
And that I remember working out because I was started in Beaumont, but I was driving back and forth to try to get my reps in. So I would go to Danny's place in Houston, down on the south side. I'd do the Laugh Stop on Mondays, and I would do Wednesday nights at Times Square. And I did Just Joking too. We could talk about that club, but Times Square.
Times Square is one of the first places I ever went.
That'd make a man out of you.
Well, you would go in Times Square because a lot of times, and want to know what I mean, you go, I'm going to go over there and work out this new set I want to work out.
The fuck you are.
And it won't work out because you gotta go back and forth with a little wine or fucking
a cowboy.
A cowboy sitting on the front row. So everything you thought you going to work on that night, no. You learn to go back and
you learn how to dance.
You gotta paint the stage though. Times Square, right? You pull up. This is not an exaggeration. 288 at like Alameda, Genoa. Yep. You're in the hood.
Yep.
And there were nights that there were horses tied up.
Yes.
Outside the bar.
Yeah.
And that was the transportation for some of the people in the bar.
Yep.
Now, you went in the bar.
Don't call it the bar, the saloon.
The saloon. It was swinging doors almost. We did.
Hood cowboys.
You ask them why, like, no DW Act. That's what they were saying.
Yes.
That's what they were saying.
You can't get pulled over on a horse.
That's what they said. Yep.
And when you walk in, you could cut the smoke.
Oh.
Because everyone was smoking. Our Houston hadn't passed the no smoking
that
thing.
That didn't happen until 2006.
And their fucking system,
their system.
whatever they had was not sucking
the old lady blowing?
The fan.
Whatever you call it supposed to suck the shit out.
Yeah, that didn't happen.
Oh, man, it was just,
thick. And they had a drink. I almost said margarita machine.
Yeah.
But it was not a margarita.
No.
But it was green.
Yeah.
And it was frozen.
Yeah.
But it had vodka in it or rum or it wasn't. It didn't match the color of the flavor. Didn't match. None of it was right.
Like Chuck Savage said, it fuck you up like polio.
It was so you had all of this, and then you had a cadre of comics. The people who were in there were, I remember you, and I remember Grossman, and I remember Keir Spates and Doc Shep and all
Keir,
of it.
God damn.
Oh yeah, Keir.
I like the shit out of Keir.
And then
that's my boy.
And then all of it run by rest in peace Tom Webb.
Tom Webb.
Thomas Webb.
So let me take a shot.
Yeah, well, so we're drinking. I want to say hello to the folks over at Texas Ranger. It's part of the Rebecca Creek family. They passed along some whiskey, J-Dub. We're going to drink it. We also have whiskey to get to, I believe, from Kentucky. So we'll do that. Not this time, but eventually.
Oh, that's smooth.
Times Square, though. Were you in the film? Do you remember when Norman Mitchell? We all shot a film in like 2003. I say we all. I was in it. Norman Mitchell did a film called Getting Paid. Thea was in it. Keir was in it. Like it was a ton of.
No, I wasn't. And the crazy thing about it is that I've been asked on numerous occasions to be in some of these small films,
Right.
To put together. But the money never made up to what I was making at the post office for that day.
Right.
So I'm not taking off to come do that film. No, I'm getting paid $300 a day to deliver mail.
I got it.
We
Totally
ain't
fair.
got that for you. All right, well, I'm going to work.
Man, the post office must be a funny fucking place. Dave Lawson, Trey, Little Bro, 3 of the funniest motherfuckers I know come out the post
Little
office.
Oh, little bro.
Yeah.
Little bro's a post office kid?
Yeah.
No, little bro was supposed
Yeah.
to work her. Let me tell you, but he would never show up. I mean, that motherfucker used all his sick leave as soon as he got hired.
I just knew when I met him, that's what he was doing.
I think he was in that movie.
Oh yeah,
He
oh yeah.
must have
bro,
taken
boy,
off.
he was funny, man.
Dave
I
covered
don't know what
his shit.
happened to him, but I love that dude.
He's in L.A.
yeah,
I
cool.
think Adam just hung out with him. They were in
very
him
cool.
and Sam
He
at the
called me
store.
about a month ago.
God damn, I'd
He
like to
came
talk to
back
him.
here
I
for
love
a
that
minute
guy.
until his older one got out of high school. He said he wanted to be here for the graduation, and then he went right back to LA.
Rodney Yarbrough. Lil Bro, winner of Houston's Funniest Person.
I was in the contest that year
that
with him.
year.
I loved him, man.
So we, and one, we're going to talk about a ton of stuff you're getting into also, but another, we're giving Houston kudos, and comics who have finally made it out of the scene we all started in, raise a glass to Mo Amer. Who now, if you're not
Good old
watching,
Mo.
you fucks,
Mo.
put it on. It's on Netflix right now. The show's called Mo. It's very simple. All you got to do is just Mo, M-O.
Yep.
I don't know if you've watched it. If you haven't, you should do it. It is he came on the show, when was this? A year or so ago.
I think it was during the 24-hour podcast. wasn't
Maybe, okay, then maybe during the pandemic. And he hinted at the fact that he had something coming up that he called a love letter to Houston. He said it's I can't tell you what it is,
Right.
but it's a love letter to Houston. And I'll be damned if that show is not. It's the first show I've seen on TV that shows Houston like it feels like Houston.
Yeah.
So a glass to Mo, who he's the only one really in my class. I don't go all the way back to '92 with you guys, and I didn't start as late as you did. So there's like
Yeah, it's kind of nice being the young buck in the room again. It's been a while since that shit happened, and my very first paid gig ever was hosting for you and Mo
really
Amer. Mo was featuring, and you were headlining on a Sunday night at the Laugh Stop.
ha.
Oh,
And
wow.
I was in the contest. I'd been doing comedy about a month, and I was in the contest, and I'd just gotten where I was hanging out at the comedy club all the time, just watch because I got to watch comics for free. And I've been up there watching Vic Henley all week, and he was just killing it. And I saw it was open on Sunday night, and I was like, hell yeah! And I went in there, and I was sitting at the bar, and you and Mo and the owner came out around the bar, and the owner goes, "Oh, well, there's your fucking opener right there. He's doing the contest right now."
Oh, this was that phase of the Laugh Stop when they didn't book everybody.
Yeah.
When it was we could afford Slade and Mo, and then somebody will come in looking
Somebody
for
will
stage
show
time,
up.
and if not, one of the bartenders can probably cover. Yeah, I own that club too.
So he goes, how much time you got? I go, I think about 20 minutes. And he just started laughing, you know. He goes, well, let's try 7.
Everybody
Let's
had
try
20.
If a comic tells you they got 20 minutes right now, how much time do they have?
It depends how long they've been in the game.
Motherfucker, how much time do they have if they tell you
If
they
they
got
tell
20?
you they got 20, they probably got 10.
There you go.
Yeah,
There you
because
Especially if they're a month in.
Because they're counting.
Because if they tell you
Exactly.
like that, if they tell you anything, I can do 20, I can do 30 now, I can do 40. It's like okay now.
go. Exactly. You gotta do comedy,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, people know.
Divide by.
People
Right.
know when you can do 20. People know when you can do 30. You know what I
Right.
mean? Yeah.
Yes, that's the. Is there still a you hit the scene now? Do you go out anymore? Are you in this comedy scene?
I
still?
haven't been.
No.
No, I haven't been.
And you don't.
I,
You don't. do
but
it.
I
When was
want
the-
to. I
when-
want to. But my mom thing. So now I'm free. Like it's for 10 years. I've been doing sniper shows, and I've been just scraping by, man, because I was taking care of my parents.
Right.
And
Kudos,
my mom,
baby.
My mom went
Yeah.
to rest.
Yeah,
Yeah,
me
my
and
mom
you
went
talked
to.
about that.
Yeah, my mom went to go rest, man, and now I'm getting hit up, man. I'm getting hit up. Like
Yeah,
crazy.
but
I'm
are
lucky.
you gonna go get in that shit? where the mics and the show, not the mics, but the shows, the little shows where you get to go.
I want to, like the secret group. I haven't been there. I haven't been there. Like I need to go there.
So
now
let's go.
And now I have time. And I talked to Rob Mungo. It's a cool spot, bro.
Let's go.
Can I go? He's like, let's go. Come on, Juan. So
but the
establish your presence.
We need to go one night because Ali took me up there one night and introduced to the guy, and it's crazy when
Ali Siddiq, another Houston name who's killing it right now.
Yep.
Oh, Ali killing it. And watch this. He took me up there with him one night, and you'll be amazed at how many of these kids know you, because you walk in there just like, okay, they're like, oh man, I've been watching you for years. I'm like, motherfucker, I wish an agent had been doing it. Shit.
You go, where?
But yeah, so I've been meaning to go up there, man.
Yeah.
But I just never.
Hey, but you know what? Agents have agents that have other agents. They know. When they want to find somebody, he goes, we need somebody like this, like that.
But
That's
see,
how
I
they find them.
disagree. I think that's an old way of looking at it. I think they used to do that because there were only a handful of us doing it well. You know what I mean? They knew where to look. Now it's kind of like, well, if I need somebody to do X, I can go to TikTok.
Yep.
I can find somebody who's going to do it for $100,
And
because they're basically whatever,
And they got millions of followers.
But it's they'll do the same thing, but they won't cost as much. It won't be. And we were all like trying to build careers. I think at one point that was the getting seen was like, so you could go, here's my sitcom. This is my life. This is my show. This is what I want to show
Well, that
everybody.
was the gig back then. Was you had to come up with a sitcom. I mean, it's just a different gig now. Now you got to come up with a TikTok,
And that's kind
it used
of-
to be a sitcom.
That's kind of my thing though. Is what is this modern sort of thing turned into? Right? If you go get into the scene right now, what do you have to do different? What's different from '92?
Man. Well, for me, it won't change too much because I've never done current events. I've never done what's
Right.
going on now.
And also, I feel like you were a
can take-
56-year-old Mexican in '92.
I know, man. It's like, I was a totally different person, man. I even spoke different.
You were bigger too, huh?
Yeah, I was bigger and I was overweight, man. I wasn't bigger. I was just overweight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They call them thick.
Yeah, in the
He
hood.
one with thick.
Yeah, I was loving food, man. All the clubs and stuff. That's why I tell these comics, like, look, man, these clubs will give you all the liquor and the fucking free chicken tenders and wings you want, but that don't mean you got to eat them every goddamn weekend.
But you get a free meal every
Especially
night.
because
That's
we're
not
older now. Like when we were young, we don't care. That's our dinner. Like, no, I'm gonna wait to the club, boy. They got the chicken tender. We would wait.
The best part of the night at the old comedy showcase would be after everything was done. Dennis Fowler would be in the kitchen. You go, hey guys, anybody want to get some food? I got some food. He'd come out with a tray of all the leftover whatever chicken fingers and fries and fried this and that, and it was just a big pile of just
a banquet.
Everything looked exactly the same, just brown and crusty.
Oh yeah, fried.
Yes,
Right.
cheese sticks, and they were all a little old, but it was end of the night food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is free.
Yes, and that's amazing that all of our arteries haven't burst out of our eyeballs.
Well,
Yeah.
there's still time.
That's I'm trying to go back and remember some of my favorite moments at those old clubs. Like the one, like you brought up, I don't know if it was even on this show or the 5th time we recorded this show, but somewhere in there, the lineup with Ralphie May.
Oh yeah. So
And
this
Doug,
is
so these are the lineups that now everybody on the lineup, when you mentioned me and Mo, and where you're like, wait, everybody on the same show? Well, how's that work? And in that order? Okay, that's weird.
yeah, because we was talking about earlier how we met. And I was doing a show. Well, I did a show here in Houston. A guy named Dick Williams paid me He paid me $1 a minute. It was like an open mic night. It was $1 a minute.
Wait, was it $1 a minute because like it was an endurance challenge? Like I'll pay you $1 for every minute you can hang from this bar, or was it like
was it $1 a good minute? Did
It
you
was
do like
literally-
20 and you got 15 or?
It was literally, I'm gonna pay you $1 a minute and go as long as you can.
that's the as long
right.
as you
I'd have
can?
been
Go as long
telling
as you
knock
can.
jokes. You
So-
better write a check.
Yeah, but you have to realize now the second guy who was coming behind me was Ralphie May, and Ralphie was like, "I need more money. Get him off the stage." So he had to come
my
up
car
and do
takes
his.
more gas. Look at me.
So it was me, I didn't even know these guys at the time because myself, and I was just getting started. I was taking anything I could get. Then Ralphie May was featuring, which he was getting ready to go to the next level, but he wasn't there yet. And the guy named, and I know him now, but at the time I didn't know who he was, Doug Stanhope.
Yeah.
Ralphie featuring for Stanhope. How
Yes.
bad was that for Doug?
Hey,
Because I know Doug's fucking hilarious.
Doug was
on.
killing.
Listen,
Doug was killing that
This
night.
was you got to go back to
I only knew late Ralphie,
No,
so
but
he
you
was
also
a
you got to
monster.
know early Doug though. So not Doug now who's playing to Doug's audience and saying the things he wants to. This was Club Doug. So this was I think when Doug used to close with a bit where he would shake up a beer and it would be like was all sex
yes, he
and
was doing
fun
all
and
that.
it was the club set.
And he was killing.
Yeah,
He
he's a
was
murderer.
killing. Yeah. So believe me, it went in order.
It was tiered.
It
All
went
right.
in order. But see,
And that was big Ralphie too with the
that
gut
was
down
big
800-pound Ralphie.
sitting up there killing it. And I was like, well, this fat motherfucker is up here killing it. Who is he? And Ralphie was killing it. And
The most animated comic that never moved.
Yeah.
His face did all the work, man.
You ever hear that story about Ralphie though? Ralphie was agile. He would get up to the stage and on and off. Do you remember the story about Ali Joe Prater, the old dirty like 80s huge massive man? He was on Jeff Foxworthy. I think this is in I Killed the book, but Jeff Foxworthy tells the story. He was opening for Ali Joe. And Ali Joe was this big, slovenly blob that couldn't move, and the stage didn't have a ramp, and the stairs weren't right, so they decided to just put Ali Joe on stage with a tarp over him during Jeff's act. So Jeff's doing
What
the
the
show, and because then they'll reveal him. You know, like Ali Joe Prater, and then he won't have to walk. But there was nowhere for him to hide. So he's smoking the whole
Under his tarp.
Can we find this on YouTube?
No, but I don't know if
Oh.
there's video of it or not, but it's because it was the 80s, and I think that would have cost $800,000. But the story's out there, and Foxworthy tells it well, and it's just because they just let that.
And you can't make that up.
No.
I believe it. I believe
Exactly.
That.
You-
Like, you
I
believe
remember
it.
when these don't happen anymore. I don't know why moments like that. I remember at my old club in Beaumont.
Yeah.
A couple of things. We'll talk about a story about
Okay.
the last time I remember you being there.
Yeah.
but
Okay. I already know what you're going to talk about.
we'll say it without names. But there and you know Chris Fonseca.
Yeah.
Fonseca, a
Almost
lovely
beat him up
comic.
one
Yeah,
time.
probably. For context, Fonseca has cerebral. Is it cerebral palsy?
Yeah.
Or MS.
It's cerebral palsy.
Cerebral palsy. Yeah. He's in a wheelchair, and at the time he was drinking so much,
Yeah.
and we've laughed about this story since then. But he was chugging Bud Lights, and he forgot to lock the wheels, and the stage in Beaumont in this one particular room was in the corner, so the back of the stage didn't go up against the wall, and there was a topple.
Oh.
It was a topple.
Man. I almost had to beat him up one time.
What you can't beat up.
Oh, yeah.
Juan was going to whip that ass.
We was at the...
Get out that wheelchair and fight me like a man.
we-
We can all get it. We can all get it.
I sat down in the chair. I grabbed the chairs, put it against the other.
Juan dragging a
Right,
bar stool
yeah.
over there.
Came to his level.
He got
I'll fight you down here.
he got really drunk. He got really drunk. We were at the Ice House. I was hanging out with Jeff and Felipe Esparza and everybody, and I think that's what we were filming. Que Locos, and because Mike Robles was there, and he's like, "Hey," and he just started telling.
Please
me
don't do
stuff
the
like,
impression.
Okay, hey man, you're hanging out with so and so, Carlos, and his dad, and then he goes, and if you're gonna steal a joke from me, you do a wheelchair. And people were just looking, and I'm like, hey, bro, do you think you get a pass just because you're in a wheelchair? Like, do you know who the fuck you talking to? Like, do you understand? Like, and then Felipe goes, hey, fool. Like, no, wait a minute. Like,
Hey,
you,
fool.
you you think you could just walk up to me and tell me shit like this?
Walk up?
Like, that's
You roll up?
Roll up, yeah. You know what? I said, come up. That's what I did. No, I did. I said, you think you can just come up?
Dave's over here proofreading verbs.
Yeah.
Bro, you better continuity director.
You can come up and just talk to me like that. And I kicked his wheelchair 2 times, and then I pushed his head, and then Felipe kind of like pulled me away from him. And yeah, I made him drool a little bit.
I can't imagine Felipe being the calm one, man, because that dude was wild as shit when I ran with him.
Felipe was like 19, maybe 20 or 22. I was like 29, 30, and Felipe had his little tablet. He didn't drink, smoke, party, or nothing.
Are you kidding?
He would just sit there. Him and Fluffy. Him and Gabriel would just sit there, and you know they would take no talk, and you know Gabriel wouldn't really write, but Felipe would have a little tablet, and they were kids. They couldn't even buy beer. I don't think. I don't even think they could even buy beer at the time.
Wow.
The old days of comedy.
Not the Felipe I met. God almighty.
Nah, because we left it for a
Dude was
while.
wild.
My kids, he loved my kids. They would roll with me, and so they knew him for a long time. And then one day we went to Sacramento to go do a show with them, and he's like, "What's up, fool?" And I'm like, "What's up?" I had a Tahoe. I'm like, "What's up, fucker?" You just we were fired up. I'm like, "You don't smoke?" "Yes, I do. I do everything now. I do coke." He just started saying a whole bunch of shit.
Todas las cosas.
I never seen anybody, dude. I partied with this dude for 3 days at the. I mean, it don't matter now. That club's closed. But at the Hotel Icon, that's when he did like $3,000 worth of damage to a hotel room.
Oh,
at
that's the one
Hotel
downtown.
Icon. Yeah,
Yeah.
And we partied for like 3 days.
Is that when he burned
and
it?
I'm talking like, dude, he was. I mean, he was fried.
It was a
man.
weekend.
I mean, you know what I mean? He's going, and he goes, "Hey man, I want to go do some comedy. Take me over to the Laugh Stop." It was open mic night Monday night, and I was like, you I'm having to guide you to the car, bro. You know, like he was like all over the place.
Like this?
He was like a toddler, you know? And I got him over the Laugh Stop, and I got him out, and I walked him in the door, and he was like guiding a toddler, you know, into the door. And he got on stage, and it was like he flipped a switch. And in 20 minutes of fire.
There's something
yeah.
about
And then he turned it back off the minute he got off stage. I had to help him get back to the car. you
that
know?
autopilot kicks in.
Yeah, we understand.
Never seen
You know
anybody
what?
do that, man.
A quick story about Felipe
personality.
and Jeff Garcia. They were booked at the Laugh Stop. No, I think Just Joking booked them. And they sent, I think Troy had a condo for some of the comics where they stayed. Like
Yeah,
an
you used to have a
apartment.
condo.
Yeah, and Felipe and Jeff got so fucked up, and they lost the key. So Jeff goes, "Fuck it, kick in the door." So he started kicking in the door, but it was the wrong condo. He goes, Felipe kicks in the door, and I walk in, and some white guy comes out in his little tighty whities and a fucking shotgun. "What the fuck y'all doing in my no, what are you doing in our condo? This is our condo." Like, because they were fucked up.
Right.
That guy could have shot him, but he didn't. He didn't.
Condos are dangerous for that reason
because
alone.
They all looked alike, too. I remember picking up somebody like, the buildings, everything.
Let's not blame it on that. They typically have numbers.
Yeah.
63, 77.
Says the mailman. Says the mailman.
Yeah.
Typically.
Hey, you would hate these condos.
You're a pro.
'Cause look, the walkway it would have 4 condos, but you couldn't see the doors or nothing. You had to get past the
Oh, yeah.
and then see where the fuck you were at. So they look the same, bro.
What's the
Right,
worst?
man.
What's the worst? You did the road for the longest time, right?
Yeah.
You played. You do the road.
Oh, yeah.
What's the worst condo you've ever stayed at? And for the uninitiated listening at home, condos are exactly what Juan just described. Instead of getting you a hotel room like a civilized entrepreneur would do for talent, some clubs would go out and find an apartment that was close enough to the club. Sometimes, if you were fortunate,
And very cheap.
yes, they
Because
would
back
rent
then
it
the
out.
the weeks were like from Wednesday to Sunday.
Yeah,
or
you would
Thursday.
do like a full week. It
Yeah,
would be
you
a
would do like
Wednesday,
4 or 5 days. Yeah.
Yeah, so they would get this apartment, and that's what you would populate. So some of them were better than others. I know the Improv in Tempe had one that was
Yeah.
cool. Like I've been at, there've been some
Sometimes
nice.
they had people
Yeah,
living
a few
in
of them had good ones. Then a
Shreveport.
couple of them you walk in like, no. This is
But look,
Shreveport one was
I got
fucked up.
spoiled. So
the worst.
I got
Yeah.
spoiled so fast right away because
Fuck your good stories. Give me
No,
a bad
because,
one.
Like, what do you call it? I was on tour with Chucky Ducky Brumman in '93, and I started in '92. So I was, staying in badass.
So you
hotel.
never had to do the shitty ones.
No, because I was making money.
Oh, well, you need to talk to me then.
Okay, yeah, come on,
Yeah,
roll
I
this
did a
limo
lot of
glass
shitty
up.
ones.
What do you
Yeah.
mean you did none of this shit? You just started
I
out
would
rock
go.
star?
I would go. Me and my manager would go, and
No, fuck. There's not a stretch in your 90-year career that you didn't go out and stay in some shitty condos for no money at clubs like the.
no, dude.
No, real talk. I
No.
remember.
I was
Let
getting paid.
me tell you, they was on one ass like that.
Damn,
Because
I know. I just
one had just started a little before me, so like it was a few months in between. But I remember going and at the hip hop. Here's what they would do. Thursday night was Boo Night. It was Apollo night.
Boo night.
Apollo night. Motherfucker would come in there to boo, and it was your job to veer them in another direction. And you got to get your first joke.
How
out.
long did you have before they started booing?
The first one got to hit. Your first joke
yeah.
better hit, or they finna start. Because these motherfuckers come in jeans. On three, everybody ready?
You got 4 seconds.
You got, literally.
I got booed. I got booed at just joking. It wasn't boo night. It was just
Oh.
night.
Just
It was just you.
Wednesday.
A lot of people got
But
booed.
watch this. So I went there, and the first night I went, I got scared. Rusha told me I was going to go up. I got scared. He came back to me, saw I was scared. He said, listen, what's up? I said, man, I can't do it tonight. I'm so nervous. I said, I promise you, if you put me back up next Thursday, I'll do it. He said, okay, I'm going to hold you to it. I'll see your ass next Thursday. I came back next Thursday. My first joke killed. That was the key. My first joke killed. And had my first joke...
Do you remember the joke?
Oh, yeah. Because all I knew is being poor. I grew up poor. So I did a whole joke. My opening
What?
My opening
1989 is calling.
My opening bit, because I grew up poor, I can remember this to this day. My first thing I said out of my mouth, I said, listen, I know a lot of us look to be in the same neighborhood. We all grew up poor. Let me tell you, we were so poor, every time rent was due, we moved. And the motherfucking room just fell out. They just fell out. Because that was, in that neighborhood, that was the norm.
That was the move.
Motherfucker. And the second part to that was like, why pay these white folks in the morning when we can move tonight? And that was my little opening for like three weeks or whatever. So it was like my fourth. I'm doing it every Thursday. I'm coming in every Thursday. And my fourth Thursday, I start getting a little, like I'm the shit. And then motherfuckers booed me. The motherfucker booed me on the fourth Thursday. But Rusha came to me and said, my fault. I put you up too late. Because
the expectations were high.
Singers, dancers, motherfuckers doing fire. They're doing all type of shit on Thursday night.
It was a talent show.
It was a talent show.
Yeah.
And they put me, it was some guys in there singing like Jodeci.
I know.
And them motherfuckers
Harmonizing.
And then put me on stage after Jodeci walked off.
That's why he being poor.
Hey, boy, get your motherfucking ass up.
I bet you are.
So
You gonna stay poor.
I swear that was the only time in my life I got booed. I got booed that night, and it taught me some shit though.
Doesn't it though? Is there? And this is why I feel like I love the scene now. That's why I asked. I like the scene. I like being in it. I like working out in it. I like going out to the rooms, and I like cutting it up. But I feel like it's a boo-proof environment. Like I don't know where you would get booed today.
Nowhere.
I saw it not very long ago at the Foundation Room.
Okay.
I was doing Des White's show, and I'm not going to say the comic's name, but the comic went up, bro, and that was brutal. Have you ever seen something so fucked up happen to somebody else that you start feeling empathy and like, oh man, dude, and those were stupid ass jokes. No, I ain't doing that
Sympathy
to the guy,
pains.
because it was what happened to him was bad enough, but. His opening joke was something about looking like a white supremacist or something, and it just, and it was done, bro.
Oh,
Done. They shut him down, and I was like, whoo.
yeah. You gotta learn to read your room too.
Yeah, dude, for sure. But I had to walk outside just to get away from it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know him.
And
Don't even come speak to me. Don't come speak to me. That's
Dude,
like I'm
take
with
the
you.
elevator.
Dude come up to me and Des after the show, and I just walked away. I was like,
Yeah.
He goes, did you see my set? I was like, I was in the bathroom, bro. I missed
Yeah.
it.
we heard it.
Yeah, that's a terrible sensation.
It was hard to watch.
I don't remember when there was a point but somewhere in the timeline, I went from being scared of audiences for what they might do to me to now it's just like the worst you can really do is be quiet.
Exactly.
You know what
That's
I mean?
the worst it can get. Crickets. And don't get me wrong, that's not a good thing, but
I can survive crickets.
you can survive crickets. But I'm talking about a whole team of people doing this here shit.
Crickets ain't gonna make you go home and change your life.
When they, I remember,
and then when they would start booing you at the hip hop, Terry Gross was dressed as
Grossman.
Sandman.
Sandman.
Was
Just
the Sandman.
Just jump up and fly and land on stage.
You got to
and
see
run.
some of the footage of this motherfucker.
Oh, my God.
With the
Slippers
slippers running
and-
from the back.
Like a
with the
wrestler.
Sandman shit on and literally
dive
on stage like airborne in the middle of the boo.
I'm about to look
And
that up.
it took
Yes.
the boo people to another level.
yes. Oh, it was, and they would celebrate.
They would celebrate.
The boo would be an art of it. It would be a performer of its own. Dancing.
Exactly.
You would have to watch this boo dance, and it would be in the middle of your performance.
and Terry would wear different outfits and different costumes.
He
Oh,
owned
my
that
God,
They had a
bro.
boo mascot.
Like we couldn't wait for somebody to get booed.
Yeah, you're like, okay.
Like sometimes it'd be 4 or 5 great things, great acts, and you're like, man, well, somebody got to get
Yeah,
booed.
somebody got to bring some bullshit up here. I want to see Terry.
Yeah, we ain't here for, he didn't dress up for nothing.
I know Terry changing outfits. I didn't nobody get booed. Like, yeah, bro, they're doing good.
This scene bred so many. We brought his name up earlier. Ali Siddiq, another one who's been a guest on the podcast. I remember watching him, and this was and Michael Blackson did great. So I don't want to take anything away from him, but this is a Beaumont show. Ali had come in just to support, to be the feature for Michael. And I remember this was like one of the first, I'd been going in and out to, but this is like the first time in Beaumont I'd seen somebody draw like an all black art. I was like, this dude is something. Where'd you find all the black people in Beaumont? Like, this is incredible.
Right.
They showed, it was, so Ali went up in front of Michael Blackson and took the first standing ovation I think I remember seeing someone taking, because I'd seen a lot of comedy at that point. I'd never seen someone full-blown, everybody on their feet, and he did it from the middle. And Blackson went up and did fine. But those those first few minutes of where it's like, all right, we're here for you, but what we just saw was kind of
Right.
So no matter what you say, and Michael would just try to do his best.
Right.
Did
and
Ali
then-
do it sitting down?
No, he was only his closer was sitting down at the time, and it was a musical. It was a piece with I remember the radio on the car playing.
I've never seen anybody be so powerful sitting in a
He's
chair.
a beast.
It's
That
amazing,
wasn't
man.
Cosby.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He,
Ali can sit in that
But he'll
chair
tell
and
you that.
control
He-
that room.
He saw Cosby, he was like, but yeah, Ali. I mean, we all you evolve, and you start one way.
But it's the product of, I swear by this, coming out of a scene like Houston. I always dwell on how powerful of a comic this scene made people, but we got a strong resume of folks who came out of here.
Yeah,
because we're so diverse.
You think it's the diversity?
Yeah,
diverse, and I will add to that, and that's true. It just like anything that's not easy to make it through, it kind of weed out. Because I can name a few comics that didn't make it. That was at they didn't make the team.
We all got a list
that fell off because they didn't make it through that tough part of it. Yeah. They didn't make it.
It's because and I feel like the ball busting that went down, and Times Square is always that's always the home of the ball busting for me, because it was you couldn't go in there without it. I mean, there was so much shit talking, but so much support, and that's where I think I learned like that. I knew it from middle school, and I knew it from I was always cutting jokes, and I always knew that came from a place of love, fucking with people, but I'd never really felt it in comedy, because the Laugh Stop felt. When I started going there, yes, it only felt mean. It didn't have the redemptive. Nobody felt in those first until I earned my kind of keep and was sort of in the back room crowd. Once you were allowed in the back room, things it was still mean, but it was mean amongst the club and whatever. But Times Square would be like brutal, and then you'd come off stage. I remember I got this dude in a cowboy hat one night. Didn't just boo me. He walked up to the stage, and he crossed his arms, and he said, "Nope."
You got no.
And I was like, what? He's like, nope, no more. And he would just stare, and you're like, well, what the fuck am I can't just, so, no. And you, thank y'all very much. Because it's just a fucking dude. And so those nights you'd come off and you'd feel like your heart was ripped out. And you were like, I drove an hour and a half to get here to be told nope
In the first 5 minutes.
in
Yeah.
the first 5 minutes. And then you'd come up and you'd just be like demoralized, and you'd think you were going to get beat up by the dudes who had been busting your balls when you first got there. But you guys were the first. Tom would come over and give me a beer. Kier would be like, man, keep your head up. You and Terry were always, I hold my hat up to y'all both. My whole life in comedy were so supportive. And then Tom would wait. He'll be like, that dude will leave around 11:30 or 12, and I'll put you back up after that. So you'd still get your reps in, and it was one of the most formative chunks of my life, even more so than the Laugh Stop, in that sense, because the Laugh Stop always had that, man, but fuck you.
Yeah.
It's kind of glad to watch you suck
They
a little
wanted
bit.
to watch you eat a dick.
But it's that room. So enough about the bad shit. Tell me the best moment in your the one moment on stage that sits with you, where you're just like, this was worth it.
Man. So
Fuck
many.
Fuck that. I'm going back to the shit we was talking about, how he wasn't in bad rooms. he was in a bad hotel.
He's like, wait, I got stories, motherfucker.
No, because one was hitting almost immediately. Because I remember that Rushion was so happy when I got my first pay gig. Rushion and David was like, man, they gonna pay you? I said, yes, a lady came here and she loves me and she gonna give me $150 to come do a birthday party. It was like, oh man, that was great. That was great. But I remember one, I think Carlos Mencia came down to see you.
No, I won
What
that.
the fuck happened then?
I won
because
that.
he shows up in a limousine and they like, he here for one. He here for one. I like that. The motherfucker is on Thursday nights with us. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Because oh yeah, I forgot to say that. You had to make it through Thursday nights. Thursday night was the night, and then because I remember I was doing good on Thursday. And Rusha, I went to him finally. Bigham was doing weekends.
Yep.
You were doing weekends. And I went to Rusha and said, man, I did like 5 Thursday nights. They loving me. Can I do it? He was like, Lawson, I will put you on the weekend, but I never know what the fuck you gonna say. It was because I thought, because you know, this comedy thing, no one taught us this. We listened to Richard Pryor. No one taught us the rules. So my thinking was, these the same motherfuckers here who was last Thursday. They don't want to hear the same shit. So every Thursday, I came in there with some new shit. Every Thursday night, I had a new bit.
Yep.
And I didn't know that was working against me.
That you were supposed to be crafting an act.
Yeah, I'm supposed to be crafting an act. I'm supposed to have a set that he can feel comfortable knowing what I'm going to do on stage. I didn't know. So goddamn, this Thursday, I talked about Burger King. Next week, it was McDonald's. The next week, it was fucking KFC. It was something different every Thursday.
So let me ask you something. So I learned a lot of that shit from Danny Martinez. I gotta put my thumbprint on Danny Martinez. Was more formative for me in that club. Why, and specifically in the early 2000s, that first chunk, why was there not more crossover between like the Times Square comics and places like Danny's? I know why the Laugh Stop maybe, but
yeah, Laugh Stop, I went over there a few times and I felt like okay, I go up there, I'm being good, and all the Laugh Stop regular comics on the Monday night, when they see you get up there and they don't know you, you're not part of the clique, they would just start talking and going on about their business. And I think I'm doing pretty good. And I got these 3 people who ain't got no affiliation with the other comics, just regular people. But the comics is having their own world. And then I would watch one of their clique get up and say something, the corniest shit I ever heard in my life. And they just start dying laughing. So it was like very cliquish.
Yep.
Okay, so I was still trying to give them a little shot. My boy got me on there they had the Houston's Funniest competition.
the Houston's funniest person,
Houston Funniest.
Jerry won it.
They put me in it. I go in this motherfucker. I'm not bragging. I killed it. I fucking killed it. Then they got on stage. They came up there. And they had, and I'm naming names because this is what happened.
Here it comes.
Here's what happened. And I love both of these guys. They funny and shit like that. But on this particular night, I fucking murdered everybody on that stage. Mm-hmm. And they picked Bob Bickerstaff and Al Freeman.
Oh.
Bob Bickerstaff and Al Freeman, the two to advance. And then I'm like, okay, I won't be back to this motherfucker ever again. So I walk off stage. And here's was the kicker. Who was the guy? Babbitt.
Mark Babbitt.
Mark Babbitt was running it. He's right over there by the door. I'm walking out, 80% of the motherfuckers walking out the door, the customers, is like, man, you fucking got robbed. Oh, my bad. I'm getting excited now. I'm getting excited. You got robbed, man. You was the funniest one. This is person after person after person. This ain't got nothing to do with Bob and Al.
Of course.
I love them. They're all good. I'm just telling you
that
what
night.
was going on that night. That particular set. Then Mark Babbitt walks up because he sees all this shit. Yeah, man, I you killed it. You killed it. I got an alternate spot for you. I got an alternate spot for you because you killed it. I'm like, no, I'm good. I don't want no fucking alternate spot. I just killed this damn place. So I never went back. And that was my reason. It seemed like it was so cliquish.
Well, if it makes you feel better, that guy's a clerk at a Valero on the west side of Houston.
I was like, no, I'm done with this place.
Why not Danny's though? Because that was
Danny's was regulated.
like
Danny ran his club the way he ran.
That's how
it,
I
and
got turned on to Times Square.
that's
was
how-
from Danny's.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, now,
Danny Martinez used to run what was called the comedy. It was a workshop room. It was a workout room. Yeah. He would develop. I guess a developmental room is how he kind of couched it. So he'd bring national headliners in. He'd book local MCs, and then the middle spot was all of us working for nothing but getting 10 or 15 minutes. And you remember the old showcase when it was across the freeway.
Right.
Had this. It's hard to explain how to design
Fridays.
Yes, how to design a perfect comedy room, but tight with low ceilings, and you could feel the walls flex when that room laughed. Like when you had them, you would feel that room kind of pulse.
Yep.
That was one of the most. So you would do it. You would show up and you would do. Hey, I'll take the 15-minute slots on Saturday night. I'll do 2 15-minute sets for no money.
Right.
You'll give me you'll cover my tab. I'll get to work out in front of these folks. I'll get to learn a lot of shit. That was when I met Ralphie and Thea and so many of those. They were headlining that room back in the day.
I've seen Jack Mayberry headline over there.
Oh, yes.
Remember him?
Yeah,
and,
still right.
The middle was Marlena was hosting, and Big Ed went
Ed
up
Blake.
right before Jack. And
Rest in
Jim
peace.
Holder and that other dude you were talking about.
Dennis Fowler.
Dennis Fowler.
Yeah.
But that was the first time I saw Big Ed, and we ended up becoming really good friends. But Jesus, he just murdered the goddamn place.
It was-
And then that Jack dude came on, and I was like, man, I really want to go see more of this bald dude.
Comedy. So it's you never know, right? Like you try to book, and I say this as a dude who's booked shows before. We won't mention names, but I might have mismatched some comics in my own day. I'll let you tell the story from your perspective because I know what it looked like from The Office. So I booked Dave to come in and feature one weekend when I had my club, and he shouldn't have been featuring. There's no reason you should have been featuring that room, but I had a slot, and you hadn't worked the room yet.
Right.
And I was trying to sell I had a partner, and hey, I don't know if you're bringing new names in, they bring them in as a middle and let me see them and yada yada. So Dave, I go, hey man, I got this week. Come on in.
He's in Beaumont.
In Beaumont. And it's a full weekend. It's a Friday, Saturday night.
It's a Friday, Saturday night. And he called me, and he's always been 100. This guy has always
I'll
been
never lie to you.
100. Great guy. So, I'm not even, whatever it's paying, I'm coming. I see you, Slade. I see you. We get there, and I don't know the guy, but I was the feature. And you know me, Juan. I'm high energy.
Yep.
I'm high
Who's the
energy.
headliner, Slade? Tell us.
The name doesn't, you wouldn't know, you couldn't Google the name. If I gave you the name, he's been out of the business for so long, it wouldn't even matter. Right. I can tell you this. He had a saxophone bit.
Okay. Let me tell you, I was killing him so bad.
Bro.
Because I would go before him that the first 2 shows, I killed him so bad on Friday night for the 2 shows, and I'm just being me. Yeah. I'm not. We are comics. We're supposed to go up there and be funny.
No, you're understate. You are to killed that guy as Nagasaki was to Slightly Toasted. Like it was. You're being kind.
Hey man, I was just doing. I was doing me. I wasn't nothing against you.
By the middle of the first show Friday, I was chain smoking in the parking lot.
Yeah. But see, I didn't know all this was going on. I knew I was killing him, but hey, he's the headliner. It's not my position. But so we made it through the second show. Did we make it?
We did.
We made it through the second show, And when I come back the next night, they're like, hey, we need to talk. We need to talk. What do you think about going last? This is not working.
It's the only time I can recall in my club's history that I legitimately had to pull the flip flop. You hear stories about them. You hear about nights that somebody murdered somebody, and that if they'd stayed another night, it would have gone the other direction. There's very few nights in comedy that the actual deed gets done.
It was bad.
That you have to pull somebody into the office and you go, hey. And I remember the conversation, and it was very similar to. I'll see if I can relive it a little bit. I go, look. Neither one of us wants to go through what you went through last night. Again. So
too real.
I'm not gonna fuck with your money, but also Dave's closing the shows tonight. So if you'd like to go get a drink, you're up second.
When you have a good shit, you know what I mean?
But you know what's crazy? Management didn't come over to me when it was at Ramada Inn. Before that happened, it was the same thing happened at the Ramada Inn. But here was the difference. Management didn't come to me.
Tony was, as much as I love Tony and as much as Tony was, I believe, a Marine and pretty steadfastly a scary dude if he wanted to be, he was not confrontational with comics. And if something went south, c'est la vie. You just had to sit there and...
Let me tell you, the worst thing you could do is this guy, it was the same scenario. Friday night, I kill him, okay? So then Saturday night, we back at it again. Boom. I do my set, I kill. I get off stage. This guy comes up. This is the first show Saturday night. It was a table of four sitting up front, little country, western, little white couple, four of them. And let me tell you, the guy, they was kind of talking. And he did the worst thing you could fucking do as a comic. He looked at him and go, hey, what's the problem? Y'all don't find me funny?
Oh.
Don't ever ask that shit.
They'll tell you.
The answer's never yes.
He said, it got even worse.
Nobody looks up and goes, yes, we're just dealing with a private situation. You're hilarious.
He said, what's the problem? You guys don't find me funny? And the hillbilly motherfucker at the table said, you're all right, but that black guy's the funniest motherfucker I've ever seen. And the whole room just...
You just got best on the show in the middle of your own show.
I swear, I was at the bar. I said, oh, shit. I'm not in it. I didn't bring this up. But that happened twice in Beaumont. Twice.
Damn, that's funny.
Well, I can vouch for that night.
I'm glad that this is funny, man, because that was happening to me a lot. Every time I go somewhere, they'd be like, hey, Juan. And I'm like, I know. And they're like, you're going to go last. Like,
you just sleep in good hotels. You bury the headliner and get moved up. I hate you right now.
I was staying, I mean, like, it was quick. Like, that's like the open mic.
I buried the headliner and they just cut my time down.
I want to give Juan some kudos. You followed. That's usually what happens. But also there was the handful of times that I've legitimately buried the headliner have been situations where like Jimmy Walker's never going to feature for me. You know what I mean?
Well, it was being Judy. It was being Judy Gold, and she's
That's,
lesbian Jewish woman in Texas
but,
against Weep.
But also,
who I was just killing her.
But she was the draw, right? Like,
she
nobody was coming for Dave or this other guy. Like it was this. They could have been a flip flop. They were naming a marquee. That is part one of our episode with Juan Villareal and Dave Lawson. That's Jerry Wayne Longmire. I'm Slade Ham. My mouth is watering because I'm drinking whiskey, and I did the shot right before I did the outro. So join us, praisewhiskey.com. You can go to the YouTube page. Follow us. Stick around. Leave comments. We love to talk to you. Jerry Wayne Longmire, Slade Ham, the Whiskey Brothers. We'll see you on another episode soon.
I believe in good whiskey.